ノモグルデバ
This is just a question, like a quiz when we ask to kids. They love quiz kind of thing. If you are in the middle of desert, desert, now only a few drops of water left, not much to eat, sun's very strong. If God said you can have one thought, what would you have? You are in the middle of desert or middle of jungle or something like that, have no way to get out. What you are thinking? Gosh, I forgot my hamburger in my house. Or such an amazing teacher, he said that love only can bring happiness. Emphasize that. Compassion. Yeah. I don't know how you felt during the meditation. Kind of compassion was the kind of natural response to that open, spacious awareness. That your experience, or what? There are many ways to approach that. It's good to approach from many angles. That's the thing. That's why we have so many methods in Buddhist practice. Yes, compassion, mothers. But I'm sure you heard about the mother can lift the truck, in the face of her child's kind of in danger. She was able to lift the, I don't know how many tons, be able to lift the truck so that saved her child, or jump off the train to save her child. That sort of fierce compassion. But you know what? We need that, that practice. This Tantra or Vajrayana practitioners, a fierce version of a bodhisattva who couldn't bear the suffering of any single being. So try to help as soon as possible, as most effective way as possible, and so fierce in that sense, like a mother in the face of a drowning child. But have you ever had experience in the face of somebody dear to you, in danger, or you feel the compassion that you want to help, but then you felt like you were a mother with no limbs. Child are drowning, your child are drowning in a fast current. But without the limb, you cannot swim, no? And so that's maybe one of the way to think about the natural response. Compassion is natural response, fierce compassion, but then we need all the method and the skills. We need the limbs, and we know how to swim, we know how to go about that. So what's the last thing? Oh, we don't need to be in the middle of desert, just in the daily life. When you wake up, first thought, what the most meaningful thought? What makes your life meaningful? That right now we are kind of studying this Lama Tsongkhapa's brief Lamrim text. Then it's now in the context. I just want to explain. Context is, of course, we reach this golden island, like called the precious human rivers. Then now he's asking, explaining or reminding contemplation, how we can make use of it, how we can take the essence of this precious human life. That's how they express the Tibetan. So how can we take the essential meaning out of this precious human rivers, which was so hard. It's almost impossible to get. But finally, we got it. We won this one. and we reached to the Golden Island. Then we just gonna leave with empty-handed. It's getting closer. Our ship is leaving soon, maybe next 30 years, 40 years, 50 years, most of us. That sort of contribute we really need to ask ourselves, including of course myself, always, every day is like that. You know, when we wake up in the morning, first thought, today I'm not gonna harm any beings as much as possible. Today I will be a benefit of others, with all sentient beings, including myself, as much as possible. Today, may all my action, whatever I do, become a cause for my awakening, so that I can bring all beings out of the ocean of suffering and bring to that state what's possible. Those three thoughts. Then in the middle, daytime, how about if the life is falling apart? What the one thought if you are granted to have? What is it? If the life is not going very well as I expected, or that's one thing, one thought. And how about before you go to bed? What the last thought you will have, or you want to have? We may not get up next morning. We heard so many stories. People die on bed. Next morning, when we wake up, the Dalai Lama often talk about it's miracle to wake up. Wow, one more day. It's a bonus. That sort of attitude. Whatever. When before we eat meal, who brought all this meal, delicious meal, healthy meal here? All sentient beings, no? Due to the kindness of all sentient beings. No single thing, even my body, made out of all this whatever, came from others. As if we think that this is me, and I'm me. I'm not depending on anybody else or something like that. But when we start thinking about that, everything coming from the kindness of others, and they are suffering exactly like me, myself. Like Shantideva talks about, suffering is suffering. The same suffering. My suffering, somebody else suffering. No owner, so to speak. Only one suffering. That's what Galchen Rinpoche also talks about. In this reality of inseparable expanse, no separation. What makes the difference, you and others? This skin, this tiny kind of, where the border? We're creating illusionary border, no? Sometimes we can feel the cross, like your child or some cross, you can feel as if your own pain, no? When the child's heart or something like that. Then why not others? We can expand. So this training, we are coming to this training to open our heart and expansion. As I said, many ways to go about it. And this the most sublime mind of Bodhicitta.